Yes, or some people call it consumption tax. Because the government says that, look, you spend most of your income, as a local income earner, you spend most of your income on basic food items. You go to the mall, you buy chicken and chips, you buy food items and all that. Those items will be exempted from VAT. But they are dealing only with basic food items. And then, do you know that by 2030, you'll be paying 15% VAT?
No longer 6%.
No, it's 7.5 now. And then you'll be paying 15% by
Oh my good Lord.
So, if you are a low income earner, and all you could do with your money, just make sure you restrict yourself to buying basic items. If you attempt to buy a television set of 1 million naira, you'll be paying 150,000 naira as VAT on that.
That means we should no longer patronize the malls. I realize that when I buy stuff, from the ordinary Chinedu and Karimo, I don't pay the tax as an ordinary Nigerian. But when I step my feet into the mall, I pay the VAT, and the VAT affects me. It makes my money go higher. And I ask the question, why am I paying this? And now you are saying that we should brace up for another, increase coming year 2030.
When you don't pay VAT on those items from Chinedu and so on, it was because Chinedu is not registered with the FRS. It does not pay tax. It's in an informal sector. So when you're in informal sector, nobody comes after you. And that is why some of us have argued that, look, VAT should be reserved for the state to collect it. It's another argument entirely.
Please, let's do the argument here.
Okay.
Let's learn. Because, sir, I want to bring up this, as an ordinary Nigerian who has a CAC certificate and I'm registered, and there is this J something, JMAB or something, and the regular FIRS, registration number that you get your tax identification number and all of those things. And I sometimes, as a Nigerian, we feel like, okay, since I've registered my my limited or my ordinary business, am I mandated to go register or get my TIN, which is the tax identification number? So, because I've come to realize that a lot of people have CAC registration but no TIN. So please help us, simplify that to our own understanding. We are laymen, so we need to know, like you just mentioned, and the major challenges that we need to know about the LIRS and the FIRS, like you want to bring it up.
Nigeria is a federal system.
All right, sir.
And although it's a strange federal system, in the sense
Sorry,
that
I need to understand that.
I call it a strange federal system because it lacks, our system lacks the basic element of federal system.
Lacks the basic element.
We'll still come to that anyway. The fact that you registered your company with the Corporate Affairs Commission does not exclude you from paying tax. Of course, you get your TIN, and TIN is regulated by the FRS and the State Inland Revenue Service too. But that's another thing. But the point is that if you look at the state, no tax was exclusively reserved for the state in the 1999 Constitution. You cannot point. If I ask you now to tell me one state tax in Nigeria, you can't mention one.
Yes, because we are not aware of it.
All states belongs to the federal in Nigeria, and that's why I call it a strange federal system. So coming to the issue of VAT.
But now, sir, sorry for, now that the president says we have autonomy, bringing out to the local government, because I want you to infuse all of that into your answer. And he's saying practically that the state can also do stuff on their own payment of salary, and nursing power and their resources and all of those things. Is it that we are not going to get a new face of this whole thing?
You see, we are not there yet. And I can tell you authoritatively that before the end of next dispensation, this law will be amended again. You see, there are critical issues that we need to look at. The critical issue is Nigeria runs a federal system of government. And in a federal system of government, it's presumed that power is shared between the federal and the state. So that each state exists as an independent state in their country. So you have an independent state within an independent country. But then in Nigeria, all the taxes belongs to the federal. The value-added tax is a federal tax. The personal income tax is a federal tax. The company's income tax is a federal tax. Now, if you look at the 1999 Constitution, there are 67 items exclusively reserved for the federal government, while the state has like 30 or 33. In those concurrent list reserved for the state. There is no single taxing power. And that is the challenges. Now, we thought the federal government will make the opportunity of this law to reserve some state, some powers to the state, so that state can also what? Generate revenue on their own and do not rely on the federal government. Now, as we have today now, every state in Nigeria get their what? Get their income from the federal government. They get monthly allocation at the end of the month. So, the Nigeria for our dream is a Nigeria where the state on their own will be able to generate taxes and they manage their affairs. Let me tell you, if the federal government stop giving federal allocation to the state, no state will survive. Maybe Lagos will survive. Ogun State governor once said this some months ago. So the point now is, but unfortunately, with this law now, we have some good innovations introduced under this law. But the disappointing part was that we thought the government would make this opportunity to reserve certain taxes to the state, so that we get to that fiscal federalism. We get to
so that means with this tax reform, there are none, reserved for the states.
Do you know of anyone?
I don't know about the law.
There's no any tax for the state. That is why I'm saying that it's a federal system, but it runs as a unitary system, disguising as a federal system. Because there's no single tax for the state. As Lagos, and that's why if you are talking of buying something from Chinedu, now you are going to pay consumption tax in Lagos State. You are also going to pay VAT. And VAT and consumption tax are almost all the same tax. Are you getting it? So if you buy chicken and chips from KFC, look at your receipt. You receive VAT and you also see consumption tax.
Yes,
it's about double taxation. So it would have been better if we leave the entire VAT in the hands of the state. But then, I've spoken to so many experts on tax. They will give you reasons why it will not work. They will give you thousands of reasons why it will not work. But they will underestimate the benefit of having VAT excluded from the laws of the Federation of Nigeria and reserved for the state. I'm looking forward to a Nigeria where the state will give loan to the federal. And how will this happen? It's when you have a vibrant state that can generate tax on their own, that can manage their affairs. The issue of tin should not even be an issue. It should be a simple thing that you should get from the state upon registering your companies and so on. So we are not here yet, and that's why
because now we have agencies that will do the registration for you and then tell you that you need to go to FIRS to go and get your TIN and JTAB. I want to remember JMAB or JTAB or something that it's likened to your tax identification number. That if you have that, then you can, But there are no regulations in place that says that when you do your due diligence of registering the business, get the tax immediately, the identification number, immediately for you to start doing that your commitment as a patriotic Nigerian. But then I just hope that one day soon we all will be that patriotic Nigerian. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll bring you more insightful conversation from early starters. Stay tuned.
Blue Lagoon Hotels, a home away from home with world-class hospitality, comfortable and affordable rooms, conference and meeting rooms for all occasions, open space and co-working area, 24-hour restaurant and bar, providing both local, international and continental cuisines, live music and entertainment on regular basis, constant power supply and watertight security in and around our premises. Blue Lagoon Hotels, situated at number 16 Tunji Adewoye Street off Afurubin Road, Ijegun, Lagos State. And for the inquiries, call 080-5668-7855 or 080-6527-3657. You can also visit us at www.bluelagoonhotels.ng. Blue Lagoon Hotels. Hospitality is our business. KG5F Security Services. We are dependable, reliable, proficient, and gallant always. KG5F Security Services, officially licensed by the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Our services include general office security, personal security, asset protection, protocol services, physical security, aviation security, loss prevention, escort protection, security patrols, and access control. We are available 24/7. KG5F Security Services also provide installation of security gadgets such as CCTV camera, alarms, special communication equipment, and so on. Gallant security personnel are needed nationwide with attractive working benefits. Contact KG5F Head Office at 45 Prince Adeyemi Street off Governors Road, Ikotu, Lagos, or our branch office 25 Yaya Baton Road, adjacent Nationwide Petrol Station, Ogba, Lagos. Call 09161514318 for inquiries. KG5F Security Services, to serve and protect.
Welcome back. You're still watching Early Starters, and you know that Dr. Kolawole Oyeko made a very, very interesting statement, and that statement is that our kind of federalism, lacks the basic elements of a federal system. And I begin to ask that, sir, can you please expatiate that our kind of federalism, because I've heard someone said also that okay, we adopted the US parliamentary system, but this is but this is not what they are doing. Now you're bringing the governance aspect of Early Starters into tax reform. Can you please expatiate? So while he's expatiating, phone line is open for you to join the conversation, and the topic remains tax reforms 2026, legal insight on the NRS transition. The number to call is 0903-539-8622. I take it again, 0903-539-8622. Please join the conversation, and Dr. Oyeko is ready to answer your questions. Sir.
Yes. On the issue of the federal system.
All right, sir.
Let's break it down now.
Yes, sir.
To a layman's level. The federal system, we talk of a system where there are national and subnational units. So you have the federal and you have the other subnational government. It might be 2 or 3. In the case of Nigeria, it's 3. We have the federal, the state,
and the local
government. So the idea behind the federal system of government is that each of these units, both the national and the state, will be independent on their own. They can manage their affairs. They have their own taxes. Although with a little control from the federal, but they are independent states, existing within an independent state. But in the case of Nigeria, now let's go back to the US. In the US, the states in the US are almost independent. Almost absolutely independent. Let's look at the issue of VAT that I mentioned. There's no VAT in the US, but there's sales tax. And each state manage their own sales tax. In fact, some states do not even have sales tax at all. But in Nigeria, what do you have? You have a federal system where all powers belongs to the federal government, with nothing left for the state. Public holiday is to be declared by the federal government. All taxes that you know in Nigeria belongs to the federal government. Natural resources belongs to the federal government. Petroleum resources, everything that you can mention belongs to the federal government.
And none to the states.
None to the states at all. And then how do you just survive? You have 36 states in Nigeria. At the end of the month, each of the states in Nigeria goes to Abuja to collect monthly allowance. They come back, they pay their salary staff, they do some the current and capital expenditure, and that's all. They wait for the month end again. And they go every month like a student going to collect handout or monthly allowance from the federal. So that's what has been going on. Now, do you know that as we speak now, between 1999 to 2024, there are 40 proposals before the National Assembly for the creation of additional 40 states. Some of these states will come into effect very soon, Ijebu states and so on. So when you have these states joined to the taxes that you join, I think you're happy about that. So when you have these states along with the 36 that you have, what happens to them? They all rely on what? The federal government for survival. And that, how do you have a development in your country as a sort of this? So we look forward to having a state that will be independent, vibrant and independent, that will not rely on the federal government for survival. Let me tell you today, if the federal government stop giving allowance today, if the federal government is broke, the states are broke too. If they have money at the federal, there's money at the state level too. So they all rise together and they all fall together. So we are looking forward to a state where the state will be independent, manage their affairs, and be able to pay. In Ethiopia, there's merger of states.
Yes.